So you can get in there too, babe. Because our chairs is stopping us. Hey, we're trying to get in position, you guys. How is everybody this Friday? I'm going to see if we can work out some more lights. You guys, we are jamming to Love is Patient. Love Demonstrated. Love is kind. It's not wrong. Always right. It's not about me.
Hey, y'all, come on in, come on in.
It's not about you. Love rejoices with the truth. Let's see how much brighter we're going to go. You should have real love. A lot brighter, which is great. Real love. Demonstrated. It's a little later than last week, so we have 4 people. Happy anniversary to our family. Hold on, you guys, we are trying to get some things situated here, but there we are. I smashed that. Hey,
what's up, brother?
Hey, bro. Happy anniversary to the Flemings. Thank you. We wanted to say congratulations.
But y'all just celebrated y'all like 65th anniversary or something, right?
Yeah, they've been married forever. Yes.
Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live.
Again, we are jamming to Love Demonstrated, which is our from our CD.
That's right.
Love
that's
Demonstrated.
Right. Come on in, everybody. We got another live with Ron and Nicole this week. We are going to be talking about a topic that we kind of left off on last week. And we're going to pick up right where we left off and keep the momentum going. So come on in to the live. Come on in. Those of you who are out there, don't forget to share it, and like, love, share it, because we're going to get into some nuggets on tonight, all right?
Yes. You are welcome. Tell Lady Des we said happy anniversary, but she is not with you and watching with you.
Yes.
We hope you guys are enjoying your time together. We know how important that is.
Getting up there. Yeah, that's your famous statement.
Here is a candle. This would be appropriate if we were talking about like romance and making sure that we're keeping romance in, but since we're not talking about romance, I'm gonna put the candle up. Okay. Let's wait.
Hey. Who else is out there, y'all? Say hi when you come on out there. Let us know you're there.
Say hello. If you're from out of town or a different state, let us know where you are tuning in from. We would love to give you a shout out. Right now, I see our numbers going up. I do not know who you are. It's not appearing. Sometimes Facebook is like that. Okay. Hey, Mary Horton.
What's going on? Welcome.
That's my girl, the Hortons. They are wonderful. They have a marriage ministry as well. In the name of their ministry, baby, you want to tell them? The Hortons. Hola.
I can't think of it.
Can't think of it. It's Mission
Possible.
Possible.
Mission Possible.
Yes. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts.
Yes,
Love you guys.
Yes. Hola.
And I'm going to try something. I'm going to go to my page. I just want to make sure it's there. It is. I do see my name. And can you share it with? Can it? Okay. I guess
It's my live.
this yours. So should I go to mine? We would love to give you. Okay, go ahead and get started, babe.
So today, tonight, our topic is going to be based around the topic of communication. And just to give you guys a preface, our love lessons videos are basically for those marriage-minded individuals who are single, and those married couples who are looking for strength to their marriage and looking for any nuggets and any things that can be shared to improve upon their current marriages. My wife and I have been married now for 19 years, and basically what we do, we don't claim to be experts, but we are experts in the things that we have gone through, because we have a story, just like you all have a story. So basically what we want to do is share our story, share our experiences, share the things that God has given us, so we can be a blessing to someone out there. Mm-hmm. All right? You never know. If it can just only be one person that gets something out of these videos, our goal and our assignment, I consider accomplished. All right?
That's right. And don't forget to share with other couples, people that you know would enjoy marriage ministry. There's a lot of marriage ministries out there now. They're all unique. Ours is particularly is about love lessons, because marriage should be centered around that. And so tonight's topic is going to be on
communication.
And that is really
there we go. My bad.
That is really a difficult topic a lot of times. Wouldn't you agree, hon?
Communication is very vital, and it's one of the things that actually can either hold a relationship together or end it altogether. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we kind of research is there's a scripture. There's some various scriptures in the Word of God that talk about communication. And the first one I want to hit on comes out of James chapter 1 verse 19, where it hits on the scripture. Basically, it's a scripture talking about being swift to hear, and slow to speak. So basically meaning that in order to have effective communication, you must make an effort and be committed to hearing the person, hearing the issue out, so you can process what's going on, and then you can respond, which is slow to speak. So you actually had a chance to process on it, pray on whatever the thoughts are and the issues that are going on, so then you can come back with a healthy answer, an appropriate answer, and appropriate communication.
Right, I definitely agree. What I'm trying to do, I want to share on my page, because I don't see it unless I don't understand. Because I want people that know me and that's on my Facebook page, I want them to know that we're on live right now. It's coming from my husband, and I'm afraid that they don't know that we're on, because I don't see it on my page. So I'm a little new.
My page.
Okay.
Go on my page and hit the share button.
Okay. See, we're communicating. Give us a moment. So go on your page. Okay. Okay. Babe, you know how to do fillers. Do fillers. Talk to the people.
It's your turn.
It's my turn? No, you have to know how to... You can't do that.
Hit the share button.
Right, I definitely... What is it? I really don't know how to do this.
Okay.
You know how to
Probably
do fillers.
shouldn't be doing it right now. But anyway, so the next scripture that I have...
No, you have to know how to... Okay. That's what I want to do. Share it to your story. Just do that. Okay, we're there now. Right, I definitely... Okay, you want to recap? Sorry, you guys.
So then come back on. So the next scripture I have, it comes out of Proverbs chapter 15 verse 1. It says, a soft answer turneth away wrath. So a soft that also speaks to communication. So making sure that any issues that come up in the communication and the relationship, that we're not harsh in our responses, that we're not abrasive, we're not too aggressive where it becomes abusive. There's a such thing as having healthy communication without tearing down each other. And a lot of times where we get into the place where because we may not like the item or the issue that was presented to us, we may throw out everything that we feel about the person at times. You know, some people don't have good self-control, where you get to the point where you just throw out the love, the like, the bond, the covenant, and you just are in defense mode, which means you're coming out of the corner swinging. You're coming out the corner firing bullets, and you don't care what kind of casualties happen. And you got to be very careful with that in communication, because some things that can be said is hard to take back.
Right, right. And I want to also acknowledge that because we all have different backgrounds. Of course, we may come from households where the type of communication that you're used to was that, hi there, Danetta. I'm just gonna wave to a few people. But you may have grown up in a house where the way that you communicated was that you were very loud. You know, you showed aggression. You're very passionate. So the way that you deal with your partner, if he didn't come or she didn't come from that type of background, that communication is not going to be taken too well. It's going to be an issue for that person. And so, you know, we know that you need communication for everything, because when you're married, you're talking about everything. You need to communicate about the finances. You need to communicate your feelings if something goes wrong. You need to communicate about sex. You need to communicate about every single thing. Mm-hmm. And there's also a such thing as bad communication. There's a such thing as no communication, you know. And so we definitely want to hit on good communication, because don't nobody want a hollering and screaming aggressive wife, right? And women, we do not want a disrespectful man communicating to us in a way that we will not appreciate. Hey, Marie. That's my oldest friend, y'all. We was babies together. Hey, Marie Smith, how are you?
Welcome to the live.
Welcome to our live. We're doing love lessons, and tonight's topic is on communication. We thank you for joining us. And please hit your share button. Please. Because we're talking about communication, which is a hot topic. It's not an always welcome topic. It's not a popular topic, but it is definitely a needed topic. We have people who don't want to talk at all. No communication. I have nothing to say. In fact, I'm going to find ways to go around the questions that you're asking me. So I'm just not going to give you anything. And you guys, really, seriously, that's abusive.
Yeah, because no communication is actually communication. That's what a lot of people don't realize. No communication, you're actually still sending a message.
Yep.
Which is, I don't want to be bothered.
I don't want to be bothered.
I don't care. I'm not considering you. I'm not thinking about you. It could be you're leaving it up to the person to actually translate your silence, which is never good.
No. Because whatever is in your head, I don't know what it is. So now you leave me in position to start to create my story.
Yeah.
And I could be totally off. But if you are able to communicate to me effectively, then you can let me know what's going on, what's on your mind, what is bothering you.
That's where the clarity comes from. Clarity comes from coming together and dialoguing, hashing it out. And it's not always going to be clean, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary. And especially now, like I said in the beginning, these videos not only cater to marriage, but they also cater to marriage-minded singles. So one thing I want to speak to those who may be out here who are single on dating and looking to be married in the near future, think about your communication now. Practice those good habits of communication now. Because one of the key things you want to do, men and women, is to make sure that when you're dating, and my wife is a board certified coach, dating coach, and so she can definitely expound on this. But one thing I do know for a fact, that when you are in the realm of dating, you want to make sure that your communication is clear and concise. Make sure that your intentions are clear and concise. Your expectations are clear and concise. I'll actually kind of liken it to, I hate to put it this way, but just for clarity purposes, like going on a job interview. When you're sitting across the table from an interviewer, everything about that job that's necessary that for you to know, their job is to convey that information. Hey, this is what we expect. This is what the job description is. What is your experience in relation to this job?
What are you requiring of me?
What are your requirements? How have you responded in the past in certain scenarios that tie into this role? These are the same type of things that should be happening in the dating realm.
Yeah, that's so good. Because I can imagine, dating, and it's like, what is it that you're requiring of me? Or I need to be able to communicate to you what I'm requiring of you. Like, yes. Can you even meet the expectations that I have? Like, just the general thing. Are you a gentleman? Do you know how to open my door? Do you know about romance? Do you know how to communicate? Are you a good steward? Just general things that's important to really help the relationship to survive.
Yes.
So you want to be very clear and concise, which is great. I love that.
I mean, I feel like just the least, you're not going to find out everything about the person up front, granted. But the goal is the less surprises down the line, the better. I just feel like, as much as you can hash out in the beginning, the better. That's why really it's ill-advised to rush into marriage. I feel like that personally. It's ill-advised to rush into marriage because it's so much to learn about each other. My wife and I have been knowing each other now. What's it, 2019? We've been knowing each other literally for 23 years. And if you ask her if she know everything about me, she probably would say not quite. Because here's another challenge is
I didn't
right
know everything.
And we're evolving.
Right.
My wife has changed since 23 years ago. My wife has changed since 10 years ago.
He ain't never communicated what those changes were.
But,
I don't even know.
But the point is,
are they good? Are they bad?
That you gotta. Well, we both had changed, but you roll with the changes. That's why I'm saying you really never have this thing down. That's why constant communication is key.
Yeah,
we have to communicate with each other because she may be feeling something today that she didn't feel last week, last year, 5 years ago. I may be feeling a way or looking away at something that I felt I looked at a way different years ago because I'm evolving, I'm changing, I'm maturing, I'm seeing life different. Life makes us different. Things that happen in our lives starts to carve and shape and mold us as we go through life. So that's why we have to make sure that we are in covenant communication with each other. You got to practice that early.
I totally agree with that. You definitely have to practice communicating. A lot of times, at the very beginning of it, it's all love, 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 love. It's all, heavy breathing and, all that. It's just a lot of the, I'm trying to think of the word, when we first meet and we're in a stage. It's a stage that we're
infatuation.
in. We are infatuated with each other. Nobody can do wrong, And now when that part is over, now you're dealing with this person that sometimes is seem like you don't even know them. Like, where you come from? What
Yeah.
is this that you're doing? How are you communicating to me? Why didn't you tell me this? I'm telling you guys, communication is so key, because you got one person who may be communicating everything, and the other person don't believe in communicating anything at all. So then it brings about a lot of confusion. Like, if you communicate to me that my pickup time from the train is 7 o'clock, but when I get there, you're not there. You're not there, and then you pull up at 7:20. Why didn't you call me to communicate to me that you would be late? So now, not only are you late, but I'm upset that you late, and I'm upset. See how it's increasing? I'm upset that you didn't call me and tell me. This is all in the lines of communication, right? You need to be in all of this. In order to even communicate with the person that you love, you gotta consider them.
I like that example you brought up, and I'm gonna flip it. So she's looking for me to pick her up at the train at a certain time, and if I'm not able to be there, a phone call. Now, here's a possible scenario that happens a lot of times. I may think it's no big deal that I'm a few minutes late, so I don't see the necessary to call. If I'm gonna be there in a few minutes. I'm gonna be there in 5-10 minutes. So what's the big deal? We do that a lot of times. What's not a big deal to me, we put that off on our spouse to think, hey, it shouldn't be a big deal to them either.
Right.
But, and this is what communication is key, because if you talk about it, and I know that, hey, my wife expects me to be on time, and if I'm not, she needs to hear from me. She don't want to be wondering, when is he coming? You have to care that much, and once it's out there, because women really are better communicators than us, because they're more expressive. Men kind of hold things in more so than women do. We know that. So when that is expressed, we have to catch it and process it and make sure we do something with that information, because it's going to come out. Sometimes it come out, in happy, peaceful way. Sometimes it may come out in a not so happy way. But regardless, it's communication, and you have to take communication at its face value.
And you can't be telling your partner, well, we didn't talk in our house, or this is the way we talked. Because what your spouse want is just good communication. Now, what we're pointing out right now, we letting you know what the bad communication sounds like, and the results of bad communication, or even no communication, is also bad communication.
It is.
And some of this, you guys, we use as weapons. So don't be using the no communication as a weapon, because you know that your spouse don't like it. So you really not getting ready to talk to them now, because you know this is what they don't like. So a lot of times, we use weapons. We got all these weapons up in the closet. And if somebody start acting up, we're getting ready to pull the weapon out on you. And you're going to be talking to me, and I'm getting ready to do you just like this.
Shut down.
I'm going to shut down.
Yep.
Hi, Jean.
Hey, Jean, she wants to say something. She
Hi,
said,
BJ.
hello, guys. Can I add something to your example? By all means,
yes.
Jean, and anybody else that wants to add any examples while we're giving nuggets, feel free to share your own, and we'll try to read them off for those who may not be able to read them off.
Okay.
So what you got, Jean, for us? Go ahead, type it on in. Donetta Diggs is watching. Abby Lopez, BJ, everybody, welcome.
Hey, guys.
Alvin New, what's up, Pops? Welcome.
Yeah. So we're waiting on Jean to type that out, because she wanted to add to the communication. And then you need to be honest with the communication too, guys. You can't just communicate any old kind of way. You have to be able to be honest in your communication. Again, without the bad communication, without the screaming, calm down. If you know you're a hothead, get yourself together, regroup, take a couple of deep breaths, make some adjustments, wait for another time. Somebody type that in. Wait for a better time.
That's wisdom.
To have the conversation if you're feeling hot. And I know women, that's hard for us. We want to say it right now. And you going to listen to me right now. And no, you ain't walking away. I'm walking behind you. Because you going to listen to me, women. So we got to calm down. Go sit down somewhere and allow him to get himself together and vice versa.
Yeah, we actually mentioned that earlier, the scripture that says in Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turneth away wrath.
Yeah.
That's something that we really do good at practicing. So let's go back. Jean has something here. It says you guys said something about time. There has to be an understanding about time too. 3 minutes is different from someone's 20 minutes. Exactly. That's actually in line with what exactly we were saying. The expectations has to be communicated so we understand. There's an understanding between the two. Because like you said, Jean, if my 3 minutes is different from her 20 minutes, I'm thinking, 3 minutes ain't no big deal. But then that 3 minutes can bleed over in 20 minutes before you know it. And you're still not calling. You're still not saying nothing. You're still showing up like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And now your spouse is getting in the car going off on you. And you like, what is your problem?
Yeah. and guess what? We're giving you examples
Yeah.
of both things that's wrong.
Yeah.
Getting in the car going off and not calling me at all.
It just
wrong.
It's like, it's like stacking.
Yeah.
It's like one thing amounts to another. And before you know it, you got a huge blow up over something that really could have been nipped in the bud if you would have just taken action and do what you know your spouse expects you to do. And is looking for you to do.
Yeah.
It's simple, but we make it not simple.
Yeah. And you guys, the bad communication, some of this bad communication that we do with each other is just a disrespect. Sometimes.
What up, cuzzo?
Hi. Sometimes you're giving bad communication because you've lost respect. You don't respect that person. You feel like that person, don't really respect you. So it's over. Yeah. Like, I'm just getting ready to be cussing you out. I'm getting ready to because I feel disrespected. But did you communicate that? Could you communicate that in a way effectively so that your spouse could understand? It's really this communication thing really ends marriages. If you're sharing bank accounts and you have one, the best thing that you could do is to communicate withdrawals. Hey, babe, I just spent $300 in the store. If he's doing the finances or whatever, and maybe I'm not, I need to be able to communicate. Hey, I just spent $300 just so that you know, so he can do what he needs to do, right? Yeah. And then the other spouse needs to be able to say, hey, if I'm not doing that, you need to be able to say to me, look, I need you to give an account for the things that's going on in the account. Instead of being quiet, not communicating it, now you mad. Now you actually are building a case against me. Now there's resentment that's coming into marriage. When you are not communicating things to your spouse, I'm telling you, it creates all different kind of stuff. And look, you all, this whole communication thing is not about just marriages. Okay, we just happen to be married. But communication across the board. When it comes time for you to communicate about your raise, you got to be able to communicate effectively to get your raise. Yep. Right? You ain't going to talk to your boss no any kind of way at raise time and bonus time. You going to know how to sit yourself down, be respectful, use diplomacy, and be as professional as you can. You have went online. You have Googled how to speak and talk about receiving a raise.
Yep.
Are you doing that? Are you Googling on how to talk to your spouse?
Usually not. we just go on with what we know. And that's not always good.
Make communication important in your relationships.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you were speaking on the topic of money too, about withdrawals, I think on the flip side, it's just as important to talk about deposits. Because a lot of times we'll get money from unexpected places. Who knows? Whether, hey, I just got this money, I got this check or whatever. And you may erroneously decide not to say something to the other to your spouse. I'm gonna just keep this. I'm gonna tuck it away. I'm gonna, I'm gonna use this on myself, and ain't nobody gonna know. That's deception. That's a seed of deception, and you don't want to make that a practice. Any monies that I come into, I'm letting my spouse know I have no reason to withhold or hide anything. Whether anything that comes into my house, it's a blessing to my house. So that's the way I look at it. That's the way I approach it.
Yeah. I wanted to give you guys an example of bad communication when it came to money. Since we're dealing with money, we know that there are 3 top areas that ends relationships. A marriage in particular is finances, communication, and infidelity. So that's why we really want to make sure that you guys are getting this. One of the things that when me and my husband first got married, I didn't feel like he needed to be telling me nothing about the money that I made. Okay? I felt like if I'm going to work, I could spend my money. And I could spend my money the way that I want to spend my money. Right? But if we're sharing an account, it can cause an issue, right? And so I would communicate that thing like a sister girl. This is a real story for real. Rhyme would be like, babe, this is what we have in the account. This is what we getting ready to pay. This is what, he would say that. But I was like, but I feel like I should be able to do what I want to do with my money. I don't want nobody telling me what to do with my money. I had a true issue, but I wasn't communicating it in a way that he could receive it. It's also the same. What is Jean saying? You should communicate about spending the $300. Right. She's right. So I shouldn't just go. But y'all, this was my problem. I'm giving you transparency right now. My issue is if I go to work every day, I make a paycheck. I don't want nobody telling me what I can spend. It was just a bottom line for me. And I communicated that, but it wasn't good communication. So what we came up with, I was like, well, I'm going to need a stipend. I'm going to need an amount of money that's just going to come to me that I'm getting ready to be. And because it was just kept me in a certain frame of mind that I needed to be in order to be a good wife. I needed to just be like, well, this much money is going to go towards me, so that's just an example. My husband is tending to our 11-year-old. Something has happened. I'm not sure. Did you hurt yourself in the room, honey? Yeah. Okay. Are you better? Okay, Daddy's taking care of our daughter. She's 11 years old. I want to say hi to the people who have just joined us. If you don't mind, you can go ahead and share. We are talking about communication on tonight. My husband's wrong communication is that for a long time he wasn't saying anything to me about it. He was saying stuff to me about it if we was in the store together and I got to grabbing stuff, then that's when he was relaying his message on how he felt about what I was doing. So that was the wrong time to be telling me something about how much money, and this and that and that and the other. Because now I'm in the store. My mind is on getting what I want to get without any interruptions. But what he wanted to communicate to me is that, listen, we need more communication about these finances. So, babe, while you was tending to our daughter, and I thank you so much for that, Jean talked about that we should, I should have also communicate. I spent before spending $300. I should be communicating to you that, hey, how you feel about me spending $300? That still bothers me.
It depends. It depends on. I think that's case by case, because everybody flows different when it comes to money. That's why you have to communicate. You got to communicate. The communication is key. Is the spine of all of this, because you have to know how each other ticks. If it bothers one person to really be a stickler on money, and the other person really is not watching it like that, and they really ain't on it like that, you got to find the middle. You definitely got to put the effort to find the middle. Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna feel good. It's not when two people are. We talked about this last week. With two individuals walking together, looking at life, most likely in two different ways. Subjects of life in two different ways. The challenge is to meet in the middle. Find that space in the middle where we can flow and we can tick together. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos all the time. You got to make that effort. You got to spend the time, and that's communication, that's talking, that's hashing it out. Mm-hmm. You got to hash it out. If you don't talk about it, it's going to continue to be an issue, and the issue is not going to stay the same. Here's something for you. Issues don't stay the same when you don't resolve them. They don't stay here. They don't stay at the same level. Issues tend to do this over time. When you don't do nothing about it, they grow. When you don't treat a sore on your body, it gets an infection. It doesn't stay in the same state. Don't treat it if you want to. And it's going to become something that you may have to cut off.
Real ugly. And this is just about finances. Just finances alone. People be fighting, moving money out of accounts, opening up different accounts, money. And where is your money for rent? You know what I mean? Where you didn't spend up all the money. This is what we need, because you over here, you got a huge budget for your clothes and your shoes and everything. Right. But you're not thinking about the house. The house.
Right.
So
those are more examples.
Yeah. And so we talked about bad communication. We've talked about no communication, how important communication is, period. Mm-hmm. And to reiterate, bad communication when it gets on a disrespectful level, guys. Mm. Yep. Communication, y'all, can really go to a bad level. Yeah. I mean, okay, so we being transparent, right, on here, because we promised we would. Mm. Ron grew up in the house with no cursing.
Well,
you heard a little bit?
A little bit. It wasn't intentional.
Well, he didn't have a cursing demon. Mm-mm. But I grew up in the house with a cussing demon. My daddy was a cusser. He cussed real good. And I knew how to cuss. But I was done. I had put cussing up. You ever thought you put something up, but then it's that one person that bring it out of you. You don't have this issue nowhere else. But this issue would come up with this person, and you happen to be married to them, because they just know how to push them buttons. That's bad communication when you bring the cussing in. So it gets disrespectful. And then you affect your partner. Because if you don't care, then now they cuss. Yeah. Now this is called cussing each other out. Yeah. That's total disrespectful.
And it doesn't even have to stop at cussing. I mean, it can just be any
some
words.
Some married couples, call each other out their names.
Yeah,
they might not even be cussing, but they might be calling you stupid, you're an idiot.
I was just about to say, it's any words that tear down the other person, any words of destruction. You know, anything that doesn't edify the other person, it's a means to destroy. And we use those as weapons. That's the first thing when we get into a debate or an argument, discussion that don't go our way. The first thing we want to do is pull a sword out.
It's time to
and not literal. I'm not speaking literally.
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm speaking subjectively. We in our words, swords in our words and our tongue. And I was just looking at the scripture that I made a note of in Proverbs 18 verse 21 says, "Life and death are what?" For y'all Bible readers out there, is in the power of the tongue. So that means that there is power in this thing,
man.
And you can either use that power to bring life, or you can use that power to bring death. And there's too many relationships and marriages out here that have had death daggers thrown at each other.
Woo!
Right out of our mouths.
Man, just killing it. Killing the person and killing the relationship. And y'all, again, this is not just about marriage, like, period.
Relationships. Just relationships.
Relationship, period.
Yeah.
You speaking stuff, out your mouth that's just destroying. You don't know it. Because the other person they ain't even communicating that you destroying them. So you keep on with your crazy self.
Yeah.
You keep on saying all this crazy stuff to the person.
Yep.
And
you killing them.
And you killing them. Now they don't want to have nothing else to do with you.
Shut down.
I feel like it's not even that person's fault. Because you didn't even let me know. I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that saying, I'm just doing me? Like doing you is like righteous, right? So, because we all need work. Let me tell you, I'm telling on myself tonight because I just want you all to get what our experiences have been since we've been married, since we've been together. Since we were talking about killing, using words to kill a situation, kill the person, kill the marriage, kill the relationship. At the beginning, because y'all, I'm spoiled. I grew up spoiled in a house with 7 men. Everything I was catered to, period. Okay? Period. Can't help myself. Can't get right. Because I was spoiled. So my husband knew I was spoiled. He knew it. But when I didn't get my way, my favorite word, and I was speaking this, get a divorce then. Oh, you got a problem with it? Get a divorce. Mm-hmm. Oh, why don't you just leave? My mouth, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, for the women who are having a tough time with that, you kind of grew up with that. We used to play the Joneses and all of that. So I'm number one. I'm getting ready to scratch you, pinch you, bite you. I'm getting ready to wow, with my mouth, because I heard things and I grew up with things. And, being in the house with all them boys was kind of crazy. So I kind of turned into some other stuff. But yeah, I used to use that word, and that word could have been very damaging. As you keep telling somebody that you want to get a divorce, go ahead and leave. That means that you are communicating that you don't want to be with them and you don't care. So they may go out there and do something that is attached to the word divorce and leave.
Yep.
Now, how you going to rear them back in?
Exactly. We got to remember the heart is like soil. The heart is like soil, just like soil. So whatever seeds that we put out there, it actually gets planted in that person's heart. Whether they're good seeds or bad seeds, the heart is going to accept it. The heart is going to plant in the heart. Now, whether it gets fertilized and gets nutrition in their heart, that depends on the person. That really depends on the recipient. But there's a good chance, like my wife's example of using the word divorce. Now, if she put that in my heart, and if that's something that actually got watered, the outcome could have been just what was spoken.
Well, he was acting a fool.
But a lot of times they do end up exactly what we speak. unless there's something to offset it. Thank God I had God in my life. I'm a man of God. I'm saved, and I believe in God, and I was able to offset it in my processing and say, okay, she just mad. She just mad. She don't really mean this. She mad. Okay, I don't like that, but I'm gonna process through it. I'm gonna push through it. That's not always the case, though.
Yeah, because we can communicate somebody right out the door. So that's why it's very important. Because we really, our communication, when the Bible does speak of there's power in the tongue. Y'all remember that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but
names will never hurt me.
Names will never hurt me. Yes, they do. That stuff hurt.
That's hurtful. They do.
When people be talking about you.
Yeah. They may not hurt you right on the spot, but that thing will be on you for the next week or two.
You don't even want to talk no more. You can't even have to get yourself together because them words have penetrated you. So that's enough about bad. Unless you guys got questions, you want to ask us how to get through something. Maybe you're going through something. That's why we here. If you can communicate on here questions. It doesn't have to be about you, but how to handle something with good communication, right? And so we talked about good communication. We talked about 3 communications: bad communication, no communication, and now we're going to talk about what we want to get to, which is good communication. How do you communicate well? Right? So we were in marriage ministry a year before we got married.
Yeah.
We decided to invest in the marriage that we were getting ready to partake in. And one of the ways that we learned how to communicate from a clinical standpoint was to first just respect each other. Respect. Have respect for one another.
Yes.
And make sure that you have 2 positions. You have the defender and the defendee. Am I saying that right?
Sounds right.
If I bring something to him because I was offended, or is it the offender and the offendee?
Yeah, offender.
It's the offender and the offendee. Mm-hmm. If I bring something to him, he has to have enough respect for me to listen. Let me show you what happened. When you don't have respect for the other person and you so busy with your insecure self trying to still point in my direction, this is what it looked like when I come to you and I just want you to listen to me. What you gonna do? Well, you did that yesterday. Mm-hmm. You did that. So guess what that means? You don't care what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you just said. You just said you don't care about what I said. So that's the important part about listening. Making sure that you have a position, a disposition to respect the person and allow them to speak so that you can hear them. That's the other scripture we use tonight.
Swift to hear, slow to speak.
So you got to listen so that you can hear their heart, know where they're coming from, so that you can think, man, I'm hurting this person. I don't want to hurt them no more. Let me chill out and just hear them.
Yeah. Yep. And even if you have to repeat back to them what they said to you, just to make sure that you got it, that's another good practice.
Yeah.
Another good listening practice is to repeat back what they said to you. Just make sure that you understand and you clear exactly what feeling they voiced to you. Yeah,
because otherwise it's that argument. It's the pointing finger. It's the going back and forth. Now it becomes petty. Now you can't even remember what it was that you brought up in the first place because you going back and forth, back and forth. Now you got to defend yourself.
Yeah.
You trying to tell your partner what's going on, and they trying to tell you, well, hey, you got a lot of nerve saying this to me because you do this. That is really bad. And I'm going to tell y'all, that's going to wear any relationship down real quick. That type of communication of us going back and forth like that, and you can't even listen to me. You can't. If you ain't listening, you ain't hearing. You're not even hearing. You can't even hear. You can't even be concerned about the person that you gave them vows to. You can't even, so it's very important that you get in practice. Let's practice. Let's have a night of communication. Hey, let's do that. Married people, if you're having difficulties with communicating, you always end up in an argument. It becomes a misunderstanding. Why don't you have a night to practice communication? A night to practice communication. Let's bring up, each person gets to bring up one thing that may have concerned you that week.
Mm-hmm. That's good exercise.
And guess what? The other person can't say nothing. You got to almost practice respect. You got to, because see, you both coming from two different backgrounds, and you might think you right about everything, and can't nobody tell you nothing. If you that person, you definitely need to practice communication.
Mm-hmm.
Practice communication, because it's hard to deal with somebody telling you that you did something wrong, and you just feel like, I do not do nothing wrong. It's hard. So if you begin to practice to hear that person, then you begin to respect them more and realize, man, they count too. It's not only about me.
Yeah. And that causes the relationship to grow. It just causes the relationship to grow.
Yep. You have anything else to say about good communication? Because that's just an exercise, guys. That's a good communication exercise that you could do.
I think it really
pick one
around,
subject.
I think it just centers around, like we mentioned earlier, with the being swift to hear and slow to speak. That goes a long way. It sounds cliche, and a lot of times we use it as cliche, but it really goes a long way. And I have found on my side, as a husband, that when you take the time to just really listen, and really hear your wife out, hear out your spouse, it gives you, even if you don't have an answer right away sometimes, you may have to process, you may have to pray on it sometimes, those who are believing prayer out there, just to really make sure that you understand the feelings of that person, because you're dealing with delicacy a lot of times. Feelings and things and issues come up, they're delicate, and you don't want to treat them haphazardly and act like they ain't no big deal, because a lot of times when a person brings something to the table, it's because it's something that's worth talking about. It's a big deal now.
To that person.
It's a big deal. And I think the biggest mistake you can make is to treat it like it's not.
Call it petty.
Disregard. And we have to have the patience to listen and hear them out and give some healthy communication, get some good communication back. Not that it's going to be perfect. We're not talking about perfection here, because none of us are perfect. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about good communication. That means you're putting your best foot forward. Your best foot forward. Your spouse is worth your best foot being put forward.
I like
not
that.
To just dismiss them, blow them off. Hey, I had a bad day. I've been talking all day.
And I don't feel like
I don't feel like talking right now. That's not having good regard. That's not having putting your best foot forward. And if you want to have something successful, you got to put your best foot forward as much as possible.
Yeah. And we're going to end this in a few, just to reiterate about that scripture that's in James 1:19, being swift to hear and slow to speak. The part about slow to speak is to keep you from cutting somebody with your mouth. It allows you, if you are listening really well, and you begin to speak, you're going to be careful about not cutting, not speaking death, not offending. You're going to be able to now watch what you say.
Yeah. Be considerate.
Which is why they say be slow to speak. And I know I'm one who had to practice being slow and thoughtful about what you're going to say before you release it, because if you release it, you can't. It's trying.
Okay, there
we
are.
are.
A little interruption in the connection.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Thank you for sticking with us while that happened. Because once we release these words, you guys, you cannot catch them. You can't go running after them trying to catch it. Oh, Lord, I done said the word.
It's gone. It's planted.
It's there, and now it hit me.
Yep.
Now we about to deal with that. Boy, I'm telling you.
It's true. It's true.
It's worth practicing good communication. Just practice it, you guys.
Yep.
If you're having difficulty in that, practice healthy communication. Take one topic a piece and begin to learn how to listen and speak slowly. Perfect, healthy communication from the Bible.
Yep.
From the Bible. From the Bible. Yeah?
Yep. So we can wrap.
Any questions? Anybody got anything? Because we getting ready to get off of here.
Yep. I think we've pretty much laid it all out as much as we were led to do so. To conclude on tonight and prepare for our next topic. And you guys, like we said last week, if you guys have any topics, any questions that you want to have discussed on these Love Lessons Live, go ahead and put them in the news feed, or you can inbox one or both of us, and we'll definitely look at it, pray about it, and consider that for the next live.
Yeah, you can hit either one of our inboxes. If you have questions afterwards, we can give you answers, try to answer the best way that we can. Because you see how transparent I done told all on myself. Y'all probably thought I was a good, sweet girl. I am. I'm sweet. Right, babe?
You sweet.
I'm sweet.
All right, you guys. So we're going to say goodnight for tonight, and you guys enjoy your weekend. And if we don't see you before the holiday, which you probably won't, we probably won't be back on here till after the holiday. We want to say happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Hope you guys enjoy your families, love on them, fellowship, and cherish those moments, all right?
And hey, I don't know how to say your name. Is it Karen or Karan?
Maybe, I guess.
We're about to get off, but hey, do us a favor. Go ahead and replay it and listen to it. And if you have anything that you would like us to talk about, any topics, hit us on the inbox. If you're a woman, hit me. Okay.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Have a good one. We love y'all. Later.